when I had 2 years and Taliban came to Afghanistan during the war, a bomb, a rocket hit to our home and I got a spinal cord injury and also my hand injured and all my body. And I was with my brother, with my elder brother. And the same time, alas, he did on that war. And I got paraplegic. After 1 year, I got too much treatment. I was better. When I had 10 years, I started to walk by myself because I could use orthoses, walker frames, and on that time I started to go to school because Taliban went out from Afghanistan. And from up to 2 last years, I get too many operations that now, fortunately, I can walk much better than before, and I'm happy. In Afghanistan, being a woman with disability is not easy in Afghanistan. Being a woman in Afghanistan is tough, but with disability, it's double. If you want to do a good thing, you have to work too much more than a man in Afghanistan. And this is my message that Afghanistan has too much strong ladies. And we all are tired of war. We all are tired of this happening in Afghanistan. I love to people who understand that we love the peace. We never want this situation. This all happening. I love when the peace came in Afghanistan and everywhere to have a better life and to be happier. My goal is to make a better situation for the girls. They want to do sport. They want to be happy. I want to make a situation. I want to change something that when I see the girls or when they come out, they could be able to laugh louder, to be happier, to forget their disability, to forget what people think about it. I don't know how can I help them or what can I do for them, but I want to do this. I want to start from here. I want to make them. I want to inspire them. Disability cannot limit them. Or when you have a short leg, it doesn't mean you have a sharp brain or mind. You can do everything. And in my future, I graduated from law faculty, and I love to work for the women in Afghanistan because everyone knows still most of them doesn't know about their rights, what they need, because they are not educated. I know, I can understand it. No one told about this, that you have the equal right like me. That's why I started to study law, and for the future, inshallah, I will work for them.
That's really important. I can say one small story from my neighbor. They have 2 disabled children, and they are not allowed to go to outside because it's really shame for this family. And after that, we play wheelchair basketball. They are allowed to come outside, and they are allowed to come see us, and they see us in social media, Facebook, like that. And it's really important that we come outside and we see something, some new things, and not just war, not just these every time, every day, every second thinking about explosion, bomb like that, and or terror or like this. And we need after we come out and we get some new things, we go outside, we meet other people with other culture, other religion, other different people. Yeah, that's really important for us, and it's not just for us. Then like prison, when you're not allowed to go to outside, and it's hard. Now we are a few times outside from Afghanistan, and I see they have other. They are more open. We need just to. Come out and show what the other people doing, and first thing for sport, and second things for change our mind, our what we say, what we are watching every day in Afghanistan. It's important to fresh sometimes come out and look what's happening in the world, other countries like Europe, like other good country like Thailand and ASEAN, Asian country. Yeah, it's more important for us. When we are playing, then we are just focus on basketball, and it's really emotion. It's good things. You will forget for 40 minutes when you're in basketball everything what happened. You have pain, you have crash. I don't know what you have then, or some other personality problem, or what happened in your country. I think you forget for 40 minutes. It's good things to forget for a few minutes what is happening here, and yeah.
Going to Afghanistan was a big change, sort of in my experience and my perspective, but I felt that it was an opportunity that I had to take wheelchair basketball, which had meant so much to me in my own recovery, and take that to some people that might otherwise never have that opportunity to have that amazing experience. And so, despite the fact that it was very different than anything I'd experienced before, I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hopefully have a positive impact on a few people's lives as a result. And that trip, which I expected would be 1 week in my life and I would have a story to tell years later, completely changed the way I saw my place in the world and my own life. And I knew that I would keep going back to Afghanistan and doing this work for a long time after that. So I learned a lot of things that first time. I learned a lot of things about myself, and I learned a lot of things about Afghans and the players that I was working with. So first of all, I learned that coaching was something that I was really passionate about, and that even though I was very new at it at that time and really didn't know exactly what I was doing, I could feel that it was something that I could become good at if I devoted time to it. I also found that in spite of assuming that I was going to be working with these players that had so many different cultural customs and such a different background than I had, that what I found was that we had much more in common than we had different between each other, and we formed a bond very quickly, even though we didn't share a language and we had come from these very different places, because all of us had the shared experience of having disabilities and having to manage our lives in societies where that is a marginalizing factor. I also learned from them the power of resilience, and that even though they had been told for the most part their entire lives that they were somehow on the outside of society because of their disabilities, once they were given this small opportunity to start playing wheelchair basketball, they threw themselves into it and became completely dedicated to it and started seeing themselves not as disabled people first, but as athletes first. And that has accrued to them all at this point, 10 years later, having gone to university and having important jobs and supporting their families and doing things that disabled people traditionally are never expected to do in Afghanistan. One of the reasons that I first wanted to go to Afghanistan was not just to teach these guys a little bit about wheelchair basketball, which is what they asked for, but also to show them that someone who is like them, a disabled person using a wheelchair, could come halfway around the world from the United States to their little town in Afghanistan and teach them, and that they would see that and think, maybe I can do more than I've been told that I'm capable of. And the fact that they've taken that realization so far, and that they're now performing at such a high level and representing their country on the international stage, I think is an amazing lesson for anyone else, disabled or not, to see how much people can really be capable of if just given a small opportunity. So I think that the message I always try to get across to the world in general is that people with physical disabilities have so much potential that is ready to help their communities, their societies, their families. Any component of the environment in which they live can be positively affected if they're just given the opportunity to realize their potential. And so we're trying to do that at the ICRC through sport and other programs, but it only will become a reality if the rest of society opens itself to people with disabilities and treating them the same way that they treat any other member of their society.
Can you tell me why sport?
So sport is, it's actually an interesting evolution because it started with sport because these guys in Afghanistan asked for someone to come and teach them wheelchair basketball. But I realized pretty soon after that this was about so much more than just sport, but that sport becomes that first lever to give them the confidence, to give them a sense of self and purpose beyond the stigma of disability that they've always been branded by. So we think that sport is kind of the ultimate first step toward full inclusion in society. But it's a continuum that has to move well beyond sport so that people can really realize what their passions are and what they can contribute most.